Welcome back, everyone. It's week 6 and complete, and we've made it through the fire realm, and now we're making it into the completion of the water realm. So I wanted to introduce a bit about the water realm, looking at what is the nature of the water realm. And if you notice so far, if you're new to this concept at least, you'll notice that each of the elements in this model have 3 phases to them. And it's sort of like each of the elements has, a beginning, middle, and end. And each of the elements has an initial intelligence that guides us into the elements in our lives. And there's a middle part where we're managing and navigating our way through these elements of our life. And then there's the finale, the conclusion of each of the elements. So there's a logic to this in the sense that we have in our own personal lives, we have the different phases of life development that we go through, right? So where in the fire realm, it's very much, egoic and future-oriented and big picture, visionary, creative and ceremonious, definitely very projective into what is possible with our lives. So we all recognize that fiery part of our nature where we identify who we are, why we're here. The water realm is really a call back into self. As you can see in the model, it's the circle starts to come back into the center and gets deep, right? It's looking beneath the surface of who we are and what we're really about. We all put up these personas necessarily. We develop these over our lifetime, and they serve us incredibly well. I, for one, am a big fan of my ego. I've seen what my ego looks like when it's not all there, and I find it to be a very high value. That said, the best ego is one that is in service to something higher and something deeper, right? So the high realms of fire burns away so we can get to the gold of what's within us and come to that higher value so that our ego mind can serve us. The water realm is going in the complementary opposite direction. It's not going out into the world and high and fiery. It's going into the inner realm, the feminine realm of this watery, intuitive, emotional, nurturing, severely, incredibly transformative realm of letting go of what no longer serves us on a deep emotional level, a deep inner level, and dealing with the inner shadows that challenge us, that have been reflected in the fiery realm as projected shadows, as projected problems. So the water realm offers us the opportunity to go inside and really see where all of this outer projection's coming from. So many have found that or believe that in a certain sense our world is nothing more than a simulation, a projection of what's coming from within us. And in that way it offers us the opportunity, if we take it, to withdraw that projection on outer challenges and outer challenging people and dynamics, and turn the light back in and look within and see where that source of that discord may be within us. So as Carl Jung would say, those that go out into the world are dreamers, and those that turn back and come back within and face the inner realm are waking up. So in many ways, it's this interesting paradox, which certainly is the hallmark of any deep spiritual truth, this paradox of both waking up to a deeper self, a deeper connection with a collective wisdom that is informing us, enlightening us, and empowering us to be what we're here to be on this planet. So when we get down to the third phase of water, we've now passed the second phase, which is all about death of the old ways, transformation of shadowy sides of our nature, and an awakening of this God within that wants to reveal itself through us, through our values, through our belief systems, through our sense of idealism and purpose. All of these deep emotional, passionate sides of our nature that really fuel our path ahead come from this watery place. Now, the third phase of water, as you can see, is coming down to the bottom of that spiral. Right? There's a fiery arcing out. There's this watery arcing back in, and it's leading right back to this central axis of self. Not on this high level of spiritual, high level thinking and intuitive spiritual awareness, but really on its opposite side, we're going down deeper into connection with the Gaian mind, the Earth Mother mind, right? So now we're entering into a phase where we're connecting with the wisdom of our planet, of humanity, of being human, of being a part of this earth as part of the animal kingdom. And even deeper than that, this is an invitation to tune into the wisdom of nature. Now, the Taoists call it tuning into the Tao. They say that once you are in tune with the Tao or in tune with the nature around you, life becomes effortless. There is this sense of synchronicity occurring, right? Where everything seems to fall into place, and the sense of struggle that had preceded in the more fiery egoic realm seems to give way to this more kind flow that we enter into. An incredible psychologist, Csikszentmihalyi, based in positive psychology, looks at what this state of flow is all about. And what it means to really be tapped in, not as a disembodied spiritual and intellectual being, but coming down beneath the surface and deeper than that into this deeper state of wisdom that comes through who we are as human beings, as beings of this planet. So in other words, when you look at high-level performers, whether they're basketball players or pianists or musicians of any sort, you're going to find, as you talk to them, when they enter this state of flow, they're actually connecting with something beyond their ego consciousness. If you've played sports and you've found that state of effortlessness where everything just seems to go right, everything seems to be connected, and it seems to be beyond you, that something deeper within you is guiding you through this, and it's an elated sensation, isn't it? So what we're asking for, and when we get into this state of our development, is we're really tapping into that part of our nature that can guide us on a more effortless level, so that we can tap into something a lot more wise than just our ego consciousness, which of course has its limitations, right? So in this realm, this is a realm where some say it can be a very unnerving realm, because it seems so much about leaving our current state of consciousness as ego-oriented beings and entering into this deeper landscape of thinking that seems maybe too primal for many. Seeing that many are going into the ayahuasca ceremonies, the resurgence of plant medicine, and the movement back towards shamanic consciousness and awareness is a testimony to the fact that we're recognizing that we can't do it alone. We cannot succeed in our missions on this planet without connecting to something much wiser than our own conscious being. So that's where we're at. The deeper stage of water is an invitation to enter into this Neptunian, Piscean. We all have these parts of ourselves, and they're all very distinct. And each one of these parts are unique and equally vast and mysterious. So early in my practice, I was taught by my wonderful teacher Luwada to step into each of my connections with my clients with a recognition of the mystery that's in front of me, that I don't know, that I can't know. And what it does is allows us to drop out of our head and down into our heart. When you can let go of this rather common but challenging notion that you're supposed to understand the nature of reality, you can enter into a relationship with reality that offers you broader support, broader access to wisdom that your egoic, analytical mind can manage on its own. I hope that makes sense. So, in this deep, watery realm, again, we are submerging ourselves into the deep subconscious. There's a state where it goes unconscious and goes into the field beyond what we can tap into. But when we go beneath the surface of egoic consciousness, we can drop into this state of subconscious awareness below our conscious everyday mind. And in that place, whether it's through prayer or through meditation or through journey work, you enter into this access to this wisdom that guides and supports you. From my experience, the more you do it, the more connection you have with that intelligent source of wisdom that's coming from within you. So familiarity breeds a sense of high levels of integrated access and wisdom from something much deeper, right? So that's one of the invitations of this deeper realm. Beyond the guides and having that support, there is this access to a deep realm of imaginative wisdom. Now, when you recognize the value of the imagination, and some have said that, well, you know, my imagination's too puny, I need plant medicines to help me with this, or some big, powerful, you know, hyper reality ceremony to boost me into this. And to that, I respond simply by saying, your imagination is more than enough. The fact is that it's so incredibly powerful. There's nothing that you can imagine about your reality that isn't actually imagined. This is, you know, I think in our culture we have denigrated the imagination to being this sort of, it's just your imagination, or the imagination is dangerous and awkward, or the imagination is something that can lead you astray. If you really think about it, there's nothing about your experience of reality that isn't filtered through your imagination. So in that way, I would say that your imagination functions very well. The key is, how are you in relationship to your imagination? How are you utilizing your imagination to support what it is that you want to do in the world, what you want to be in the world? That's a key question. If your imagination is something that just happens to you on occasion when you fall asleep and you have dreams, or whether you start daydreaming, or you know, whether you're imagining something horrible happening next week or something horrible happening in the world, some would say that's a bit of a misuse of the imagination to use this powerful reality creating medium to create realities in which you're hoping to escape. So it's a little bit of an insane sort of concept. What the imaginal work from the shamanic perspective, and certainly from the Jungian perspective and the depth perspective, is that when you use your imagination, when you imagine taking these wonderful guided journeys or guided visualizations, what you're doing is tapping into a level of consciousness that is deeper, more primary, more vast than your conscious ego awareness. So when I go into the inner realm and I work with, go in and meet with guides and with animal spirits and the rest, when I work with animal guides or spirit guides, or just go into the inner realm to work for a client or myself or my family, what I'm doing is allowing myself to drop out of this level of consciousness and dropping into a state of consciousness that's open. It's more conscious that there's a level of knowing that I don't have access immediately in my conscious mind. Now, in psychology, we have plenty of evidence that this is the case. What we're looking for now is operationalizing and creating process so that we can have access to deeper states of awareness. And it's very everyday. It's very mundane if you think about it. I mean, if whether you're writing music or you're building a coalition, there's certainly outer world logistics and analytical thinking that's involved in this, and sort of big visionary stuff. But the water realm says, let's go a little bit deeper before you put it all together and start putting your vision into action. Take a while to look at what's deep behind this. What is it deep within you that resonates with this this initiative that you want to get involved in? So when you do imaginative journeys in the rest, you're accessing a state of consciousness that is deep, vast, it's inductive, it's big picture, it's beyond your own current sense of knowing, and there's always something that you can come out with on the other end. So this part of the water realm correlates with the astrological 12th house. And in the 12th house, they say it's a house of big vision, big dreams. It's a mutable phase of water, which means it's the continuation or the fruition of going into the first phase and second phase of water, going into what nurtures you and what feels home for you, going through these deep inner transformations leads to this deep state of flow that allows us to access a deeper state of wisdom. They call the big dream the deep dreams. And so this is where something new may come through for you. A guided journey about your business or your practice, by letting go of the analytical process and going to the deep inductive process of the dream world, can actually allow you to access insights and information about what you're already doing in your life that brings it to a higher level. It's a beautiful place. If you've ever been out in the middle of the ocean and just floated in the water or dove beneath the water and scuba diving or skin diving, there is this vast sense of peace, but also a sense of this connected intelligence that is at once incredibly, almost uncomfortably silent, and also vastly powerful, right? So this is a week to look at that part of your nature that really tunes into what is deep within you, what wants to be come through you on a deep level. This is an opportunity to tap into the deep emotional self that even extends beyond your own sense of your own personal passions and your own personal feelings of beliefs and values, and that it's looking to see what's a little bit deeper within that's creating these dreams that bubble up as visions for you. So throughout the week, let's focus on what it is from your tradition, from your way of your systems, your beliefs, that offer you an opportunity to get a little bit deeper into who you are, what you're about, to tap into more of a collective connection with those around you. Like fish, they're all flowing together, but there's this sort of, what is that? It's like a liquid murmuration, right? There is this connection we enter into when we're in this vast state of harmony that allows us all to come and flow together. That allows us, instead of being these independent actors with these egos that are bouncing off of each other, this is calling us into that deep state of connection that allows us to be in resonance both within and in the world around us. And the goal is, the mission is to invite everyone in from every practice to be able to take a moment to honor your way of seeing this particular phase of our experience, and offer your insights, concepts, offer any tools or resources that you have that support you in this area, and your concept of what transformation looks like in this area of existence. So you're invited in at all points to add to the collective, to add to the wisdom that's accruing. We invite everyone to share their experiences. So far, we have this amazing collective on the SOLAB group that have made some amazing bonds together and support each other through their creative and processes and personal and in their professions. And it's been incredibly heartening to see the way that they come together and support each other. So I would invite you to join in and add to this wonderful collective that's supporting each other. So we're finishing up the final phase of water this week. We'll enter into a deep state of flow, and we'll see how the world around us synchronistically matches up with that. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for your time. I hope this was of help. Let me know if there's any more questions, and I will see you in the virtual realm of Facebook. Bye.